Humanity, I love you all with all my heart, with all my might. This is today's live. Um, I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but I haven't. I decided to do it now. I think this is the perfect moment here and now. So this is about the Heliacal Rising, Heliacal Rising or Heliacal Rising has a few names. It's essentially the period where a star, specific star, any star in our sky that we can see from Earth, that essentially rises before our sun rises, meaning that it can be seen from the distance from Earth can be seen the early hours when the sun rises. It's almost like before it becomes too bright to not be seen anymore. And it signifies a lot for these fellas who came here. It's the same with the linear A. This is all connected. This is all part of the same. This is all the language. They have a language, which is an astronomical chart. And this astronomical chart is essentially written in the skies, right? That's the way it works. It's written in the skies, meaning because they have put all these different moons and artificial objects outside our orbit, they created this arrangement, this clockwork. And this array, because of the moon doing what it does, creates a specific axis in relation to the star systems where they come from in this universe. Because we created this universe with a spaceship, but then we evolved into infinity and we just left that here as legacy. But they found it. So essentially what it is that there is 7 major species, 7 major civilizations, 7 major non-human species out there who want our tech. And they're the ones behind the moons and all these different things. And they come from 7 areas of the skies that we see all year round, given the everything that they've done. And the way to identify them is through a cycle called the heliacal rising of Sirius or Cyrus or Sirius or Siria or Sirio. So this is the name of this star. And this star is like the brightest star. Why? Because they made it so by putting the Earth in the angle they've done with that fixed axis because of the moon being there. So this is all an illusion, it's a fantasy. They just made it look like that as a marker, as a point of beginning of a cycle, which is part of their annual cycle based on all these arrangements that they have as they came together as a faction of groups with the moon and all that, reverse engineering our tech. So essentially, heliacal heliacal. It's a word. It's a weird word. Helio comes from the meaning of the sun. So it's a rising of that, but it's not our sun. It's like the rising of a star that you can see in the early mornings. The spelling is there, so you can actually know and you can find out what it is. So what does that signify? It's the brightest star. So when that star that is not our star, the central star of this universe, the epicenter, the central sun, is seen under, it's like a sign in their calendars and their way of thinking of control, because we rise before you do. But in reality, it's all a fiction. It's all a fiction. It just signifies, it's the way they communicate. And it's the beginning of their calendar, like the bigger calendar, because they have the moon cycles and the moon calendars and the solar calendars that they created as a result of the moon being there. It's just like the systems here. But outside that, the way they navigate the charts, how do they come up with this faction of 7 groups that came together as one and created the moon and all that? Well, they did that by coming together in a federation. So they came together in a federation of factions that came together from different star systems, different species. They all look different to each other, but they tend to be reptiles or insects. So that's who they are. And they came together as one group to essentially do the moon, to do this here. Okay, so they did it is Sirius or Cyrus or Sirius or Cyrus or Siria or Sirio. It has different names. That star, the brightest one, is just there as signifies is the beginning of the process because they all come from all these different sectors. And these are the 7 sectors where they come from. They have star systems and planets that originate. That's like their stargate systems, meaning from those they jump from those points. They have gates. There is gates, and they don't have those gates anymore because we have already defeated them, meaning that we have control of all the gates. But they still come from those places. Those are the source origin where they come from. And these are 7. This is Sirius, Orion, the Pleiades, um, Antares, Alpha Centauri, Hydra, and Crux. Those are the 7 where they come from, okay? These species. And within these, they all have their own cultures and things that are non human. They're all anti human. They are anti human. They're moon worshippers, anti human, all of them. So essentially, that's what happens. So this process with the moon calendars and everything is signified by that process of the heliacal rising of Cyrus, because it's like the biggest star aligned right before at the right season. When that starts, then starts all the systems. It's like the new year stars for them as 7, as all of the groups together. And because they all have their own calendars and their own things, that they use that as the alignment, the celestial alignment, given that the moon has put our planet, which is a mothership planet Earth, that we created ourselves as a species, in an angle because we evolved into infinity and we just left it here and they found it, but they don't know how to turn it on or any of that. But that's who they are. These fellas are these fellas. So they come from these 7 systems. Okay, Cyrus, Orion, Pleiades, Antares, Alpha Centauri, Hydra, and Crux. Those are the points where they have gates. Well, they used to have gates because we have taken those out of their access. They don't have access to those anymore because they have been defeated. So that's how they used to move. But they can't do that anymore. So they just have a few clones that look human that stuck on Earth with us. They're stuck here with us. And they can't do anything. So essentially is that. So and this is who we are with the Republic of Planet Earth. We're an infinite number of planets, and I'm a messenger of the Republic of Planet Earth. This is who I am. I'm Sol Ray. So essentially is that. So you can always refer to my other videos that I have made about what all sorts of things, who we are. So essentially just wanted to explain who they are and why they're doing what they're doing. Because now I'm going to talk about us and why they're doing those things because of these, because we're infinite in nature. So we're going our bridge. So this is a mothership planet. This is a mothership planet. Planet Earth is a spherical mothership, right? That's what it is. It's a planet. Our planet is a spherical mothership. It's an actual spaceship. We created it. It's a planet that is a spaceship that moves. And not only that, it creates universes, is what it does. We create universes with our planet. And we charge them in the central suns of the universes that we create. And this is one of the universes that we create with these. But we evolved into infinity and we left this as our first mothership spaceship planet as legacy. This mothership planet Earth, we left it as legacy for those that will come after us. But what they've done is that they just grew our samples that were there and pretended to be our creators and did that for a long, long time. And that's what the moon is, and all these 7 factions represent this federation. Okay, so now what happens? What happens? So this is not only so all these clones that they have on the surface, which is the last thing that they have, nothing else. They all come originally. They're spliced with their hybrids. They're synthetics. That's what they're known as, synthetics. They're synthetics. They're hybrids. They are mutants. They're not real humans. They're hybrids. They're not pure human. They don't have pure DNA because they're being spliced. With who? Well, with the species that come from those 7 systems that I mentioned: Cyrus, Orion, Pleiades, Antares, Alpha Centauri, Hydra, and Crux. All the species that come from those sectors, because they're the ones behind the moons, are all the clones they control. They're all hybrids of them. They're spliced. They're not pure humans. They cannot command our technology. They're just bodies that they control and interface with. But they have their own intelligence because they all have been defeated outside this moon. They all have been defeated. and all the gates are under our control, the control of the Republic of Planet Earth, who we are, the human race. So what that means is that the last thing they got left is these clones that are just like the bodies that they used to rule here, but now these bodies are autonomous now, and they just stuck here with us. So because they used to run the systems that were created, all these systems that I have spoken about in the past refer to the videos. Resonance is one of them, and many other ones. So essentially, what happens? They all splice with those pieces that come from those places. These are hybrids, mutants. They are not pure humans. The great majority of us, we're 8.3 or so, we are all pure because we come from the base of who we are as a species. But these minorities, they're all like hybrids, they're synthetics, they're not real humans like we are, they're just shells. Okay, so why am I saying this? Because who we are. So essentially, once we turn the engine on, because our bridge is where it's known as Antarctica, as our central city, and that's where we have the bridge. So there we can turn our engine on, and then we can turn our defense grid on, which comes out of the Pyramid of Giza, and it generates a huge beam that creates universe and all sorts of things. But in this case, it's a defense grid, so we can bounce off the moon and all the systems on all these different little moons they have around our orbit that work as a clockwork. That is the astronomical chart they built to move around here in this guise, to move around here in this guise. But that's all gonna be shattered once we turn the engine on, and it's gonna happen very soon. So essentially, what's next? Well, because it's a mothership planet Earth, this is what it is. We built this planet spherical mothership. When we turn the engine on and everything starts to go normal, we're gonna have our own because the moon is creating an artificial gravity of 9.4. So, but we can have zero gravity when it's on to any number. We can increase the density and the gravity of the surface because it's a planet that is a mothership. So we can these are all these things can be controlled. So, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna drop it to 8. Why? Because at 8 we've been using 9.4 for so long. I mean, we grew to become a population of 8.4 or something billions. So what that means is that we've been used to being at 9.4 for our whole lives for a long time. So we need to climatize to our actual environments or habitats without a moon and having no clouds and no ice caps and being a tropical planet, meaning an equatorial environment where everything is nice. And our central island, what's known as Antarctica, is just the epicenter of our civilization. Is right there. That's how it looks. That's how it looks. That's how it looks. And everything else is surrounding us. So essentially, and the water is at the bottom, which is the Pacific and all that. And everything else is just beautiful, green and luscious. And that's a natural process that it will renormalize. But us, as we climatize to our new gravity on the surface of our spaceship planet or mothership planet Earth, what's going to happen? Well, we're going to drop it to 8 because when we drop it to 8, you can still walk and you can still run and do all these different things. And it feels the same like you do normally. It feels exactly the same way as you feel normally. But if you add kinetic energy, meaning if you put energy behind it, if you start to exercise or increase your tempo and your breathing and you exercise, you increase your rate, your heart rate, then you start to do things that you couldn't do otherwise because you're less dense. So you can run faster, you're stronger, you don't get tired. And because you don't get tired, and because you stare at the sun, you have all this infinite energy of gamma energy and plasma energy that allows you to do all sorts of things. Also healing, we heal immediately, and we don't any wounds, we don't even have scars. Once we start to drop our density, we don't even have scars. So if you have any scars in your body, all gonna go away. They're all gonna disappear because your body, the tissue, reshapes to the original format because it has the density to do so, because we have the plasma and the gamma energy to do so, because we have awoken. So this is all the normal things that are going to happen. And this is going to happen to all of us because we're pure of DNA. The only ones that won't be able to go through any of this evolution will be the clones, because their eyes, they don't have irises, meaning they cannot stare at the sun and they cannot evolve. And their hearts are not as strong. They're just clones. However, some of those clones have the ability to develop strong cone cells in their irises so they can stare at the sun, but it's a longer process. They could, but it takes a lot longer for them to awaken. than us as pure humans that are not mutants like they are, because they're all synthetics, they're all mutants, they're all clones, they're hybrids. They've been spliced with aliens that come from these 7 systems that I mentioned. Okay, they all the ones that used to be here running the system before it collapsed. Okay, so now what happens? What happens is that we're going to drop the gravity, right? We're going to drop the gravity of the surface to around 8, a lot less. So that allows us to, we're going to be able to breathe more oxygen because we're going to be less dense. So our brains would have more synapses. We will be smarter. We will become super geniuses. Our brains will be extremely, will be like the brain of any quantum computer that we might have now, all these different prototypes that they're slowly releasing. This is all the group, the same group that is behind the quantum technologies is the same fellas. Okay, it's the same groups behind AI, all that, they're all the same groups, they're the same casts. Okay, the same casts. All these fellas talking about the moon all day long, they're all the same. They're all the same. They all come from this system, moon worshippers. Okay, so essentially, what is it? Well, when we drop the gravity of the surface, when we drop the gravity of the surface by turning the engine on and getting rid of the moon and having our actual engine on, we can graduate that, and we're going to put it at A so we can climatize, because we can go a lot lower, but because it's a time of climatization, everyone needs to feel like they are stronger and healthier immediately, and they just start to, you start to drop weight, you shed weight immediately because you don't get hungry anymore, because you have all this energy from the sun, you're less dense, so your energy is, because we're infinite, we're immortal, we don't die, we're the human race, we're the biology of infinity. This is who we are. We're infinite eternal creators. We created an infinite number of universes. We created this planet, and with this planet, we create universes, including the universe that we are right now, where these 7 groups come from, this federation of insects and reptiles that have clones here on the surface, that they all have been utterly defeated outside the surface, outside the orbit. They all have been defeated, and we are in control of all the gates. But they still have clones here, okay, that look like us and act like us, but they're not us, they're them. Okay, so what happens? Or they're clones, they're mutants, they're spliced, they're hybrids, they're synthetics. Okay, and a lot of them are interfacing with AI already. They're not real like you and I with a consciousness and self-awareness. They're full out robots with human bodies. Okay, and then anti-human, they're all anti-human, they have an anti-human agenda. They don't like humans, they pretend to be human, but they're just anti-human. It's who they are. So now what happens, because this is the case, that system is over, because we're the Republic of Planet Earth. So what that means is that we're going to turn our engine on and expel the moon and all those systems that are already obsolete and primitive, and they all have collapsed. So what we're going to do is turn our engine, and our new gravity will be around 8, so our bodies can adapt to the changes. So we can become super smart and remember, start staring at the sun. There will be no clouds, everything will be normalized. So the transition will be pacific, civilized, structured, and organized. That's the full transition that we're going to go through. The full transition will be pacific, nonviolent, civilized, worldwide, structured and organized. All that. Structured and organized, civilized, nonviolent, pacific, and that's it. That's it. And we're gonna go, and that's it. And then we're all gonna start to remember, and we're gonna have ports everywhere in our city so people can move immediately into our central city, which is known as Antarctica, where it will be the new epicenter, the new equator of the planet. And we can all go there, so we can all remember who we are and interface with DNA and have all sorts of realizations of who we are. That they're called DNA memories. We will wake up, you will know who you are, everything about you and who we are as a species. The infinite eternal creators, the creators of universes, the human race, creators of planets and creators of galaxies. Who we are. We're an incredible species. This is who we are. This is who we are. And who am I? Well, I'm just one of you. I'm a citizen of the Republic of Planet Earth. If you're a human and you have a heartbeat, you are a citizen of the Republic of Planet Earth. This is who you are. You're a citizen of the Republic of Planet Earth. This is who you are. This is who you are. You're a citizen of the Republic of Planet Earth. And you can stare at the sun and love with all your heart and all your might. and become one with infinity, because this is who you are. This is our destiny. This is our DNA. We are the DNA, the biology of creation itself. We're the biological expression of everything there is and will always be, because this is the species that we are. We just evolved to infinity an infinite number of cycles ago and left this as a legacy, and they just grew our samples again. And then that's why we are here again. But we've all done this already. In fact, this is just a memory, a DNA memory of something that we have already done in a very distant past, because we're the here and now. We're just reliving these, all of us, simultaneously, because our species is everything there is and will always be. So I'm just explaining to you why this is happening, and why is it that we all know that when we're born, there's something extremely wrong about everything and we don't understand. Well, it's that, but now we do. So your job as a citizen of the Republic of Planet Earth is to love with all your heart and all your might. The love of your heart, with the love of your heart, and stare at the sun. So you stare at the sun and you love with all your heart and all your might. You open the portal and build the bridge. You evolve to infinity. You open your eyes, open your mind, open your lungs, open your heart, and evolve to infinity, because you're sundials. This is who we are. And this is infinite virtuous cycle of sundial and compass. And they go to infinity, because we are that. We're the biological singularity of everything that there is. A human heart is a pulse of life, the pulse of creation, infinite love, infinite energy, infinite creation. This is who we are. We are a benevolent species. Love is the highest energy of creation, and it comes from the human heart. Creates everything there is and would always be. It's a consciousness of awareness of love itself, which is infinity itself, which is eternity itself, which is the singularity of infinity. And the electromagnetic field of that is a node. Every universe is a node on that tension, on that surface of the electromagnetic field of infinity itself, which is love itself. And we are the consciousness of awareness of that, because we're the biology of everything that there is and will always be. Our DNA is just that. So we are this race that creates universes with our spaceship planets, with our mothership planets. And this one is the first one that we created, and it's called planet Earth. This is why our republic, which is an infinite republic with an infinite number of planets and an infinite number of universes that we have created, and an infinite number of citizens, is called the Republic of Planet Earth, because our first planet was called Earth, which is this planet. The Republic of Planet Earth came from this planet. And this is why we are who we are. But we're infinite. I'm a messenger of the Republic of Planet Earth. This is who I am. And we all human. We are the most developed and most advanced species that there is and will always be, with the consciousness and self-awareness of love itself. Pulse of life, the pulse of creation. The human heart is a biological creator. It generates the pulse of life, the pulse of creation, the human heartbeat that creates the electromagnetic field that gives us life. So we can be conscious and self-aware, and we can love, which is the highest energy of creation. The highest energy within, the biology, love, and the highest energy outside, the energy of the central sun of creation, comes together as one and awakens us and reminds us of who we are. The infinite eternal compasses, the infinite eternal sundials. So what a compass? Well, what we are 8 primary elements. We're identity and true self. We're purpose. We're time and energy. We're action. We are why, how. We're flow. We're true north and destination. And with this energy, we ignite it with the energy of our heart, which is infinite free will. And with that, we create with daily purposeful action, purposeful daily action, we create to infinity, because we're the consciousness of awareness of everything that there is. We create universes with our minds and our thoughts, because our planet creates universes with the energy that it beams from the pyramid of Giza, that it doesn't only create an electromagnetic field called a defense grid that defends us against these moons and all these different things, so we can exit the electromagnetic field of a universe of our own creation or not, and go outside that to the space of infinity and create new universes with that energy that we beam out of it. And then where is that energy coming from? Well, we charge our planets with the central energy of the central suns of the universes that we create. So it's an infinite cycle of creation. And then once we arrive to a new galaxy, a new universe that we create, a brand new universe, then we can deploy our infinite fleet of spherical spaceships. And these move faster than the speed of light. And they manifest because of the telemetry of the electromagnetic field everywhere around, and start to create galaxies by releasing the energy of the central sun in a spherical vacuum threshold, and a new galaxy is formed. So we assist the universe that we create by creating an infinite number of galaxies outside the range of the energy rate at which light moves, speed of light. And we just do that. And we do that to infinity. And this is the species that we are. So we're the most incredible species that there is and would always be. We're the only species in the universe and all the other universes that have the technology to create universes with a spaceship planet that we ourselves manufacture with our own consciousness and self-awareness. because we're the consciousness of awareness of everything that there is. That is why there is this federation of 7 groups wanting our tech, but they won't be able to get it because they don't love. You can only interface with our technology if you're human DNA and you love with all your heart and not your mind. It's the only way. And because we're all humans, we all have eyes, so we can see the energy of gamma rays coming through our eyes and awakening us, so we can love more, and then we can interface with our plasma energy, and we can start to interact with our tech in our central city and everywhere else. Because we have an infinite number of planets, because we're an infinite number of citizens, because we're the Republic of Planet Earth. The human species is the most ancient species that there is because we come from the first universe that was created. And we're the first biology that became one with infinity itself, the consciousness and self awareness of love. And we were able to create our first spaceship planet, which is this one here, there. And in that spaceship planet, we got closer to the central sun of that universe that allowed us to stare at the sun and evolve into infinity, because the planet allowed us to get closer to any rocky planet that would otherwise melt in the proximity. So we created this indestructible planet that allowed us to get closer to the central sun and evolve to infinity. And then this planet itself, when we designed it, itself would create universes that we will be able to create once we exited the first electromagnetic field of the first universe. And then we just start to create as biological species. So we were the first species ever to create universes outside the creator itself that would create an infinite number of universes prior to our own ability to do so. And it continues to do so, but we assist it now, we create on top of what it does. Because this is the species that we are, because we're the biology of it. We are how love experiences biology. We are the conduit, we are the vehicle that allows love itself to experience existence. This is the species that we are. We were created by love. We were created by the energy of creation, by eternity, by infinity. Spherical energy, the creator that created us an infinite number of cycles ago. And we are known as who we are. And we're the most incredible species that there is and would always be. We're the human race. We're the pulse of life, the pulse of creation. And this is our compass, because we have infinite free will. We're benevolent species. We live to love and we love to live. This is who we are. With the pulse of life, the pulse of creation, the human heartbeat. This is who we are. The biological singularity is the human heart. And the heart is a biological creator. And it creates everything as a result of the electromagnetic field that generates. And our bodies are the space structure density of our electromagnetic field, which is our compass, which happens to be our sensory perception. So we understand everything outside that is not us. And we understand that we are the biological expression of everything that is not us, because we're the DNA of everything that there is and will always be, because we are this species. So everything that you do, everything that you think, everything that you say, everything that you feel, everything that you sense, everything that you perceive is automatically stored in your DNA as a memory. It's a memory, DNA memory. And not only of this life, but all the lives that you ever lived. And not only of your life, but all the humans that live and ever lived are stored within you. And you are stored within every other human in a distributed and decentralized manner. Why? Because this is the species that we are, because we're the biology of infinity. We're the DNA of everything that there is and would always be. We're the human race. This is who we are. We are infinite eternal creators. We're co-creators of infinite eternities. We are the creators of universes. We are a universal species. We are a species that creates universes and galaxies and planets that create universes. This is who we are. And I happen to be Solar Ray, a messenger of the Republic of Planet Earth at this level of density, because this is where we are. We are the human race. I love you all with all my heart, with all my might. So remember, this is who we are. And this is a message of love, because this is who we are. We're infinite love, infinite energy, infinite creation. We're the human race. We're infinite eternal creators. I love you all with all my heart, with all my might. Remember, the infinite virtuous cycle of compass and sandal as one, going into this infinite virtuous cycle of existence and creation, making us who we are. The consciousness and self-awareness of everything that there is and will always be. The human race, the infinite eternal creators, the co-creators of infinite eternities, the consciousness and self-awareness of love itself, infinity itself, eternity itself, the electromagnetic field of reality, the singularity of everything, the spherical energy that created us and created everything, us, the human race. This is who we are, the biology of everything that there is and will always be. I love you all with all my heart, with all my might. Have a wonderful day. I love you all with all my heart, with all my might.